I love assembled salads. It's a whole meal in one dish. And one of my favorites is a roasted chicken Cobb salad. And it starts with bacon. How bad could that be, right? So I've cooked the bacon 350 degrees on this sheet pan, so all the fat drains off, which is great. I cooked it for about 20 to 25 minutes, so I'm gonna let that cool. In the meantime, I've got all these other ingredients. The first one's Stilton, which is English blue cheese. And I'll show you how I like to cut this up. I just cut off the rind. A lot of people like to crumble Stilton into a salad, but I think it just makes everything look messy. So what I like to do is, as much as possible, cube it. So I'm just gonna prep all the ingredients, and then just before serving, put it all together. See, like big pieces are much better. I've cut up Hass avocados, big dice, because when I do an assembled salad, I want everything to be really clear. And I mix it with a little lemon juice, just to keep it bright green. Okay, that's perfect. I've got arugula that I washed and spun dry. It's got that really nice peppery flavor. It'll be really good in this. And I've got cherry tomatoes. And actually, I always cut the cherry tomatoes through the stem. I just think that looks nicest when you cut it open. Okay, next thing's the chicken. I roasted 2 chicken breasts. I slathered them with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and just roasted them 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes, just until they're done. And then it's really important to let them rest. All the juices get back into the meat. A long time ago, I tested boiling chicken for chicken salad as opposed to roasting, and the roasting was so much better. So just take off the skin. Now I'm gonna take my knife and just run it right between the meat and the bones in a big piece, but it doesn't all have to come off at once, and then just pull it apart. I don't like lots of little pieces, so make big chunks, or you can shred it. Sometimes shredding is nice because it really absorbs the vinaigrette well. Okay, that's the chicken. So the bacon's cool now. I can cut it in big pieces. Big pieces. It's nice and crisp. Okay, that's the bacon. Now I'm gonna make the vinaigrette. So that's 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I'm gonna add 5 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, and then Dijon mustard, what it does is emulsify it and flavor it at the same time. So 1½ tablespoons. It's gonna have lots of flavor. Some salt, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and just whisk it all together. First, I'll start with the diced chicken, then the tomatoes, lots of salt, pepper, enough dressing to just moisten it, and I'll toss it all together. Next, the avocados, diced bacon, Stilton, the arugula on top, a little more dressing, a gentle toss, and it's done. So I've got cooked lobster meat, which I actually have the seafood shop cook for me. I mean, you can cook your own, but that's like a whole big thing with big pots of water. And it's really worth it having them do it. So I'm just gonna cut it up in large pieces, just kind of slice it. You should be able to buy cooked lobster meat pretty much anywhere. Okay, next I'm gonna make the dressing. It's my secret sauce. It's basically Thousand Island dressing. So I've got mayonnaise. And when I was in France, one of my favorite restaurants was called Frenchie's To Go. The owner, Gregory Marchand, made some kind of a sandwich for us. It had the most delicious sauce. And I said to him, Gregory, what is this? And he said, Ina, it's Thousand Island dressing. And I thought, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Just seemed much more fancy when it was in France. So mayonnaise and ketchup and a little bit of relish, salt and pepper. I mean, everybody knows how to make this, right? And you can just find all the ingredients in your pantry and your fridge. But it's just great with lobster. Okay, so that's the sauce. Time to assemble the sandwiches. So I toasted the bread in the oven. Actually, 400 degrees, 10 minutes, so much easier than standing by the toaster and waiting for those things to pop up. And it's nice and crisp, and it's perfect for the sandwich. So just do a little sauce on the bread. If you toast it, the sauce doesn't soak into the bread, so it's better. Leaf of Bibb lettuce, just a really tender lettuce. Right on top. Some avocado. What I did was peel these, slice them, and I tossed them in lemon juice to keep them from turning brown. One of the things I love about these sandwiches is I really do love that high-low thing, you know, like truffled mac and cheese or caviar on baked potatoes. I think Lobster BLTs is definitely in that category. Some tomato. This is great for a summer lunch. So next is bacon. I actually roasted it in the oven, which is easier to do for a large amount. Then the lobster. This is enough for 4 sandwiches. And then a little more sauce right on top. And that is the Lobster BLT. Now I'm gonna go make 3 more. Ta-da! That's 4 Lobster BLTs. I'd say that's classic food updated, and I think one of these has my name on it. It is lunchtime sometime, right? That looks so good. I'm starting with good tuna, and it's Italian tuna packed in olive oil. I just find it has really good flavor. I need 14 ounces. One of the nice things about the sandwich is everything tastes better if you make it a little ahead of time. I've already made the hummus, and now I'm making the tuna salad. I'm just gonna drain the tuna. I want a little bit of the oil, but not all of it. Okay, into a big bowl to mix it all together. I'm just gonna flake it a little bit. Now I'm just gonna add some really good ingredients. They're sort of classic tuna ingredients, but with the volume turned up. So the first thing is 1/4 cup of chopped celery. Then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of chopped onion. This is just a yellow onion. 2 tablespoons of chopped cornichon. It's got that sort of nice vinegary thing going. Instead of pickles, I think cornichon are really nice. So just big rough chop. This is not like a fancy French dish that needs a perfect chop. And now, because I also like the sour part of it, a little bit of lemon, 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. I'm just gonna do it through the strainer so we don't get seeds in it. There's something about fish and lemon that goes together. Why not in tuna salad? Okay, now I need a few things to make it moist. So I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons of the oil that the tuna came in, because that's got great flavor, but I don't want all of it. 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, just enough to bind it. One teaspoon of mustard. I use Dijon mustard. Half a teaspoon of salt. Make sure it has great flavor. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Just gonna mix that all together. Now the secret to really good tuna is the flavors really develop if you let them sit for a little while in the fridge. They sort of blend together. Okay, into the fridge. Like tuna, the hummus actually is much better when it sits in the fridge for a while. Flavors really develop. You can buy hummus, but it's so much better when you make it yourself. Drain 2 cups of canned chickpeas and reserve the liquid. Then put the chickpeas into the bowl of a food processor fitted with a steel blade and add 2 tablespoons of the reserved liquid. Add 1/3 cup of tahini, which is a paste made from ground sesame seeds. It's delicious and nutty. Add 4 cloves of minced garlic and 6 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. That's going to be about 3 lemons. Now for a real kick, 8 dashes of Tabasco sauce, or as much as you can stand, and 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Process the hummus until it's moist and thick and coarsely pureed. And that's it. Okay, a couple of hours in the fridge, and I'm ready to make sandwiches. I love all the big, bold flavors of the things from the farm. Of course, you can buy arugula at the grocery store. You need about 8 ounces for the salad. I actually love composed salads like this because you can really throw anything in that you like. I always go into the pantry and go, that would be good in this. That's how this salad came about. So the arugula, I just cut it in pieces. 1/2 cup of dried cranberries. Just toss them all in. And I've toasted some walnuts. It's about 1/2 cup of toasted walnuts. I toast them because when they're crisp, they really have that sort of walnut flavor. Just a big rough chop right on top. I'm gonna assemble all the pieces and then make a vinaigrette. Next, an apple. Granny Smith apple from my farm box. I'm just gonna peel it and chop it. Granny Smith apple's great because it's really tart, but if you have another apple, you can use really any apple you like. Just get a big chop. I don't like things too finely diced. I really want to just know they're there. Look how gorgeous that is. Okay, next is blue cheese. I'm gonna use Roquefort because I love it. I need about 6 ounces of crumbled blue cheese. Roquefort is French sheep's milk cheese. So just give it a chop and then crumble it a little bit. What a great combination, isn't it? Sweet and piquant and peppery. It's got everything going for it in this salad. So for the vinaigrette, I want a really fresh flavor. So because of the apples in the salad, I'm gonna use apple cider vinegar, about 3 tablespoons. Okay, then I need 2½ teaspoons of Dijon mustard. I want this to have lots of flavor. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. About a teaspoon of grated orange zest. And if you do it right into the bowl, you get all of the oils into the salad dressing. Okay, and then orange juice. Okay, I'm just gonna approximate it. This is the kind of salad dressing you just want to taste and make sure it's right. Fantastic. Okay, lots of salt and pepper. Vinaigrette has to be really highly seasoned. Because remember, it's just gonna coat the lettuce. Give it a whisk, and then 2/3 of a cup of olive oil. The mustard actually acts as an emulsifier, so if you pour it in really slowly, it'll emulsify the dressing. Yeah, okay, that should do it. Just taste it, make sure it's right. It's great. Really taste the maple syrup. You can taste the mustard and the apple and orange. Just pour it right over. Just enough to moisten it, but not soak it. Give it a big toss, and then I have one more thing to put in. Something salty and crunchy. A little bacon that I roasted at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. That's the last thing I put in. When I'm testing recipes, this is usually just about the time that my assistant Barbara shows up. It's lunchtime. I think this is gonna be really good. Starting with really good tuna. This is Spanish tuna. It's packed in olive oil, but it's big pieces, and it's absolutely delicious. It's moist. The flavor is fantastic. I really look for some kind of imported tuna in a glass jar. With all respect to American tuna, this is particularly good. Okay, the tuna's broken up. Not too much, but just enough. And now we're gonna add lots of good things. Some diced celery. I always use the hearts of celery. I just think it's tenderer than the outside. The outside can sometimes be a little stringy. Lots of scallions. Give it lots of onion flavor. Mix it all in. And dill. I know it doesn't normally go with a tuna fish sandwich, but it makes such a difference. About 3 tablespoons of fresh dill. Think of dill with seafood, but you don't normally put it in tuna salad. And I thought, let me try it. It was really good. It's got that kind of anisey flavor. Okay, fresh lemon juice. Kind of brightens everything. Salt and pepper. Give it a little heat. It's amazing how salt and pepper makes everything taste better. Okay, next is the mayonnaise. And what I'm gonna do is flavor the mayonnaise. About 3/4 of a cup of good grocery store mayonnaise. Next is anchovy paste, just 1 teaspoon. I know, there are a lot of people that don't like anchovy paste, but it just gives a little extra depth of flavor and you don't know it's anchovies. Okay, this is gonna go right into the tuna. I mean, so far, almost everything has been in your vegetable bin or your pantry. I'm gonna mix this in. This is just comfort food, weeknight dinner, perfect thing to make. My mother always used to make us tuna fish sandwiches when we were kids. Trust me, it didn't taste anything like this. These are so much better. Okay, tuna salad's done. I'm just gonna pile it on 4 pieces of toasted white bread. So that's the tuna, next is the cheese. So I've grated some Emmenthal, it's Swiss cheese. It's got a really good nutty flavor. I love it, and it's gonna be really good on this. I grated it so it melts a little better. I like the way it looks. I like the way it melts. I like the way it tastes. It's all good. I don't want to see any orange slices on this. You want all the ingredients to have as much flavor as possible. Each thing has to earn its place in the recipe. Okay, into the oven under the broiler, just for 1 or 2 minutes, just until the cheese melts. I want the tuna still to be cool. Watch it really carefully. Okay, I think they're ready. Oh, this looks so good. Okay, tell me these aren't the best looking tuna sandwiches you've ever seen. I love these. And I'm not even a tuna melt aficionado, but these are really good. They look kind of gooey and cheesy and tuna fish. This is perfect retro food for a weeknight dinner. The ultimate comfort food. And because I can't ever leave well enough alone, I'm just gonna put a little microgreen on top. It's like a little peppery salad. It just kind of freshens the whole thing. I think you can find them in any grocery store now. It's like having a salad with your tuna melt. I don't think there's a restaurant in America that doesn't have a chicken Caesar salad on the menu. I'd like to take something really traditional and do it with a twist. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to take the croutons and put it on the outside? So I'm gonna make a chicken Caesar salad sandwich. So I'm gonna start with ciabatta, and I'm gonna put it on a sheet tray and bake it at 350 for about 5 to 7 minutes until it's just a little toasted. Next thing is the pancetta. So I'm gonna take 8 slices of pancetta and just put them out in a single layer on a sheet tray. And I'm gonna bake it along with the ciabatta until it's nice and crisp like bacon. Okay, last 2 pieces. Into the oven, 350 degrees. This one for 5 to 7 minutes, this one for 15. I cooked some chicken for the sandwich. Actually, I find this is such a great way to do it. It's on the bone with the skin on, olive oil, salt and pepper, 350 degrees, 35 minutes. It's really moist. Perfect. So the best part of this sandwich is the garlicky Caesar dressing that I'm gonna make for it. First, I'm gonna start with garlic. Right into the food processor. Okay, next, 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Okay, that's about 2 tablespoons. Right in the food processor. Next thing is anchovy paste, critical for Caesar dressing. 1½ teaspoons. Anchovy paste gives this really great flavor. 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Just process that until the garlic and the parsley are minced. Great. Okay, now some lemon juice. About 1½ tablespoons. Okay. 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. Okay, just make a nice smooth sauce. That's Caesar dressing. So first, I'm going to slather this sandwich. And the toasted bread really is going to absorb all this great sauce. Okay, time to layer the sandwich. First, I'm going to start with a layer of baby arugula, if you can find it. It's nice and peppery. It's great with this. Okay, the next thing is sun-dried tomatoes. This is going to make about 5 or 6 sandwiches. Next thing is Parmesan cheese. I think it's so much nicer if you have like a whole slice of it right on top. Next is the cooked pancetta, right down the middle. So the next thing is the chicken. So I'm just gonna take the skin off. And then I'm just gonna slice it and put it right on the sandwich. Okay, right onto the sandwich. It's right down the middle. Okay, a little salt and pepper. Right on top of the chicken. And pepper. The last thing is some arugula right on top. Put the top on. And just slice it in sandwiches. Oof, this is gonna be really good. I don't know if we'll get any work done. It'll be delicious. We're all gonna need a nap instead of getting any work done. We can get this one on. Whew. So the first thing I'm gonna make for my lunch today, besides getting a facial, is a crunchy noodle salad with lots of Asian spices. So I'm gonna start with thin pasta. I actually like thin spaghetti for it. It seems to absorb the flavor the best. Just put that in the bowl. Okay, the next thing is sugar snap peas, about a pound. I'm gonna salt the water and then blanch them for about 3 to 5 minutes, just until they're crisp tender. Okay, first scallions go into the salad, and the red peppers. And the next thing is the sugar snap peas. But I'm gonna shock them first, which means taking them out of the boiling water, putting them in ice water to stop the cooking. Really sets the color and it stops them from getting overcooked. Just takes a second. Perfect. Just make sure they're really cold, and they are. Right into the salad. It's really cold. Okay, now the sauce. It's got great flavor. Okay, the first thing is a cup of vegetable oil. I don't use olive oil here because I want the other Asian flavors to come out. So I wanted a clear oil with no flavor. Right into the bowl. 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar. You can find this in the Asian section in your grocery store. 1/3 cup of soy sauce. 3 tablespoons of toasted sesame oil. This isn't the clear one. This is the one that's the dark one, and it's got lots of flavor. 1 tablespoon of honey. Give it a little sweetness. And 2 cloves of chopped garlic. So 1 teaspoon of grated ginger. And if you want it hotter, you can always put more in. Okay, and this is the good stuff, 1/2 cup of peanut butter. That's really what gives it sort of an Indonesian flavor. And you want to use smooth peanut butter. And then just whisk it all together. And you can make this sauce way in advance. And you can make the salad in advance, but not too far, because actually the soy sauce will break down the noodles. I think the last thing I'm gonna put in the sauce is some toasted sesame seeds. I toasted them in a dry pan. Just put about 2 tablespoons in. I'm gonna save the rest to decorate the salad. Okay, right on the salad. So this is the warm noodles. I use spaghetti, thin spaghetti. And the scallions, sugar snap peas, red peppers. Toss it all together. I like lots of sauce on it. Need some chopped parsley, just a rough chop. And then some more sesame seeds, so it looks like sesame. I decided I'm gonna make Robin John one of my all-time favorite soups, lentil vegetable soup. It's a really rich, hearty soup with lots of chunky vegetables. First thing you need is 4 cups of chopped onions. That's about 3 large onions. Okay, next thing is leeks. So onions and leeks are milder than onions. About 4 cups of leeks, right into the pot. Next thing is garlic. 3 cloves of garlic, just roughly chopped. Okay, that's about 1 tablespoon of garlic, right into the pot. Now lots of seasonings. 1 tablespoon of salt. I use kosher salt. 1/2 tablespoon, which is 1½ teaspoons of pepper. And lots of flavor with fresh thyme. About 1 tablespoon. Just run your finger down the stem, and the leaves come off. They're tiny, so there's really no need to chop them. Love the smell of fresh thyme, but it's strong. Just about 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of cumin. Cumin's used in a lot of ethnic cooking, Middle Eastern, Indian. It's not something I use often, but in the lentil soup, it really sort of brings out that earthy flavor of the lentils, which is great. Give it a big stir, and just cook that over medium heat for about 20 minutes until the leeks and the onions are just beautiful and tender and not browned. It's gonna make one big pot of soup. Next is lentils. Can't make lentil soup without lentils. I like to use the French green lentils. You can find them in specialty food stores. I just think they have better texture. So I need 2 cups of lentils. Just cover them with boiling water and let them soak for about 15 minutes, and then they'll cook faster in the soup. Okay, everything into the pot. 3 cups of carrots. 3 cups of celery. This is one big chunky pot of soup. I'm just going to cook that at medium heat for about 10 minutes until the vegetables start to become tender. 3 quarts of chicken stock. This makes a lot of soup. If you want to make this vegetarian, you can always use vegetable stock, but I really like the depth of flavor that comes from chicken stock. 1/4 cup of tomato paste. I actually love these tubes. It's a great way to store it in the fridge, what's left over. Just squeeze it in, give it a big stir, and mix the lentils. Just gonna drain the lentils. They're softened now from being in the boiling water. And they're gonna go right in. French lentils are really firmer than regular lentils, just have a much better flavor and better texture. This is really the most flavorful lentil soup. The guys are gonna love it. Bring it to a boil and then lower the heat and simmer it for about an hour, uncovered, so it gets really thick and absolutely delicious. This is actually quite a lunch. A hearty, delicious lentil vegetable soup. Chicken salad Veronique. It's like chicken salad, but elevated to party food. I thought Michael and Jim would really like it. So the first thing I did was I roasted chicken breasts, olive oil, salt and pepper for 35 minutes at 350 degrees, and it really makes the chicken so much moister than poaching it. Let it cool a little bit, take the skin off. So I'm just gonna cube this. I don't want it too small, but I want sort of bite-sized pieces are perfect. I'm going just right into the bowl. Chicken's still a little warm, which is a great way to make the salad, and then it really absorbs the flavor. Once it's cold, it's firmer and it doesn't absorb the flavor so much. So chicken salad Veronique, I think, comes from probably Sole Veronique, which is classically made with grapes. Chicken has so much more flavor when it's roasted than it does when it's poached. There's something about the water that just takes all the flavor out of it, and there's something about the olive oil, salt, and pepper that gives it flavor. So I think for tonight I'm going to do 4 chicken breasts. Okay, now for the sauce. So first, 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. I'm just going to put it right into the bowl and toss it all together. Okay, now some green things. So fresh tarragon, which is a really sort of delicate herb. 1½ tablespoons of fresh tarragon leaves. This really is the place for fresh herbs. I'm just gonna chop it up. It smells wonderful. I think it's a really underused herb, tarragon. Okay, the next thing is celery, in the category of lots of green things. I'm gonna run my knife right down the middle. Leave it attached on the top. And just chop it up. Okay, right in. I think I'll do 2 stalks of celery. It's about 1 cup of celery. But the good news is you can do as much as you like. Okay, that should be just about 1 cup. And now comes the Veronique part, green grapes. So I need about 1 cup of green grapes cut in half. I want to make sure you use seedless grapes. Nobody wants to be crunching their chicken salad. This salad will sit very well too, because all the flavors, the tarragon will really get into the chicken and the sweetness of the grapes. Okay, that's it for the grapes. A little salt and pepper, 1½ teaspoons of salt. I know it sounds odd to have salt and grapes together, but really brings out the flavor of them. 1 teaspoon of pepper. Toss it all together. And that's chicken salad Veronique. I've got just a very simple Pullman loaf, good bakery loaf, not like the stuff from the grocery store. So I'm gonna need 1 cup of mayonnaise, 1/4 cup of mustard. I use good Dijon mustard. And this is the unusual ingredient, Parmesan cheese. 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I think that works best. And just whisk it all together. And I'm gonna spread this on the bread before I even put the cheese in. I mean, how bad could that be? Okay, that's done. But first, I'm gonna spread some butter on the bread. And that's gonna make sure it's gonna be nice and brown and crisp when it goes into the grill pan or the press. Okay, so that's the butter. Now I'm just gonna flip them all over. You want the butter on the outside of the sandwich. And then I'm gonna spread the inside with the mustard and mayonnaise mixture. I find a spoon for this, an easier way to spread it on. So inside of this, I'm gonna put really good cheese, some crumbled bacon, and put it in a panini press. If you don't have a panini press, you can always do it in a saute pan, just like classic grilled cheese sandwich. Okay, now for the bacon. I think the easiest way to cook bacon is in the oven. On a rack, 400 degrees, 20 to 30 minutes. It comes out perfectly every time. Okay, I'm just gonna put it on the board and just dice it up. Every sandwich gets just a little bit. And just give this a big dice. Just big pieces like that. It's easier to distribute on the sandwiches. Okay, that's the bacon. I'm just gonna put a few pieces on each sandwich. It's a cheese sandwich, not a bacon sandwich. Just adds a little extra flavor. Now we need cheese. I need 6 ounces of cheddar. That should be about 6 ounces right here. And I need 6 ounces of Gruyere. I love Gruyere for this because it's got this really nutty flavor. So the fastest way I know to grate cheese in the food processor. Watch this, it's so fast, I love it. Just put it right in the feed tube. Oh, can't get it all in. Yeah, I can. And that's the cheese. So I'm just gonna put lots of cheese on each one. Just pile it up. Remember, it's all gonna melt together. And only on half the bread slices. Then I'm just gonna take the tops and put them on the bottoms. These are major grilled cheese sandwiches. So I'm gonna do 2 sandwiches at a time. Takes about 3 to 5 minutes. It'll be nice and browned on both sides. Love the sizzle. And when I'm done with this, I'm gonna take them all outside. I'm gonna photograph them in the garden.
Just grab that one branch and pull it across that way a little bit. There you go, that way, that's it, that's good.